Smite fans, mount up. It's time to talk about the top 5 most interesting gods for me to master. And of course, if you are a fan of Raynday gaming, you're going to want to see if these match up with your tendencies and if you want to master these gods as well. This video is going to be all about taking an in-depth look at some of the gods that I have on my hit list for Smite that I want to play, that I want to practice, and that for some reason make me want to play more than other gods. There is that tendency that we all have to have a main or to have somebody in their kit, and maybe the way that their ultimate or maybe the way that they just look in game makes you want to play them a little bit more. I'm going to go through my top 5 list for the current gods in Smite, and I hope that you'll find some value in it. Hopefully you'll enjoy it and get to run through some of the reasons why I love the certain gods that I do. And join me on this journey of eventually mastering all 5 of them. All right, let's get things rolling. The first god that I really want to master right now in Smite is Kuzenbo. Now, Kuzenbo is a guardian. If you don't know anything about that, when guardians are released in Smite, essentially they're not as prioritized to play as other types of classes, such as a mage or a hunter or an assassin. Those get insta-locked every game for, about a week, or unless they have some really weird launch where the community vibe is not too hot on them, they essentially are very hard to play. Everybody wants to play them. With Guardians, even if you have a really cool, unique Guardian, a lot of people don't want to delve too deeply into them because a lot of people don't delve too deeply into the support role. If you've ever played a casual game in Smite, you know what the heck I'm talking about. 4 assassins, 1 hunter, and everyone's not clicked yet because they're like, is somebody gonna change? Somebody, please change to a Guardian, please. And of course, they never do. So more specifically on the Kuzenbo and why I want to master him, I find that his kit is self-explanatory, but also has hidden depth. I feel like the way to play Kuzenbo is not yet discovered. I feel that all the tactics are really just hidden under this very, very deep and windy road that some adventurer is going to have to travel and face hidden dangers that no one knows before he's able to come up with the answers. And when you do find it, I feel like it's going to be a very worthwhile experience because I see some of the potential there. I think the ability to bounce his Kappa, to increase the distance with it, and the way that it interacts with players in the game is unique. It's a very interesting mechanic, and I like interesting mechanics. I like taking new things and seeing how I can maximize them. The other thing I like about Kuzenbo is his dash. For me, getting to the bottom of how best and when best to use his dash is a very intricate game. When you're talking about a team fight, there's 5 people you could dash and basically pummel through each other. Who do you select first? When do you dash onto them? When do you silence them? Do you throw them into a wall, or do you try and hit them into their own minions? Do you try to hit them into other teammates? Do you prioritize the damage dealer? Do you prioritize the initiation and give your backline peel and allow them some free farm to be able to just either clear waves or to harass the enemy backline? There's a lot of different decisions and a lot of different ways that this dash can pay dividends, and that to me feels like a very rich ability. It feels like there's a lot to learn about it, a lot to discover. For me, mastering a god, there has to be that kind of replayability to where each game I feel like I can learn something new, I can improve. And that's why Kuzenbo, his dash specifically, and I really like the one as well, are these things that make me say, I can maximize this way better than I did before. I can get a lot better at this. I can understand the timing of this better with Blink and how to immediately hit these dashes onto someone. It takes practice, it takes time, but for me, those are one of the things that I really, really enjoy about mastering a god, and that's why Kuzenbo is up there for me. Also, he's just not straightforward. That's the other thing. Straightforward gods, I think, are a little bit less enticing for me to master and delve a lot of time into. I really love the gods with the hidden depth, with so many different options per fight, per laning phase of what you can do or how you could approach it. And for me, that's why Kuzenbo sits up there as well. All right, number 2 leads us to the one and only the Morrigan. Now, the Morrigan is the menage a trois you didn't ask for. It's the quadre trois that you're like, oh, baby, I didn't know you were bringing 2 of your friends, but then you realize she's just like an illusionist and, doing scary magic and stuff, which I don't really know which one is better or worse. The only thing I'm saying is that Morrigan, just like her illusion surprising you, has so much surprising depth with her ultimate. Really, her other abilities are very straightforward. I mean, stealthing in a champion, stunning someone in a champion up close. I mean, just a a wave clear. I mean, that's not really enticing to me, but her ultimate is. And that's what I think this character has so much replayability. That's why I was really excited to see this character jump into the battleground when she was announced at HRX. And when you talk about depth, I think Morrigan has to be one of the deeper gods, because it's not just straightforward whether you have a Hebo on the enemy team or on your team and you just turn into him for some extra damage. It's, do I want the CC here? What's going to allow me to survive when I'm in a pinch? Is it the mobility on a certain god that I didn't really recognize? Or is it the fact that he can knock up and stay CC immune during the process, and therefore I could get out of this safely? So many different situations can come forward, and being able to, on a dime, be aware of the enemy team, your team, and what god actually has the toolkit to escape that deadly situation, or to approach and advance onto the enemy team to create a deadly situation for them, is so fun. And honestly, it just, when I'm using Morrigan, I'm constantly thinking, I'm constantly trying to keep my opponents thinking as to what I'll turn into. If I turn into a mirror one time, maybe I want to turn into Anubis the next time. Maybe I want to then turn into a Willix the next time and gank them and pull them off a knock-up when they weren't expecting it. All of these different opportunities allow me to play Smite in a different way. And again, to have a lot of fun while I'm in my games, saying, I have no idea what I'm getting into, but I'm excited for the next 30 minutes. This could be an awesome experience, and it could be bad, but it's okay, because even if it's bad, I'm playing for the potential for it to be awesome, and to learn a lot, and to gauge whether that was a good, correct decision, or if maybe I can improve on that next time. All those reasons mean that Morrigan is my girl. I absolutely love playing with her, and I'm very, very excited to master her in the future. Alright, so 1 and 2 are in the books. My number 3 pick for the god that I'd like to master is IZANAMI. Now, you guys may not know this, but IZANAMI and I, we actually have some history. You know, there's just something about an undead girl that makes you feel alive. You know what I'm talking about, fellas? In August, when IZANAMI was released of 2016, I actually, a couple weeks prior, made a mistake on my stream and said that she was an assassin. Now, this was an honest mistake, because obviously she was a hunter, but as we know, the second you say anything that is special, controversial, there is 100% somebody lurking in your stream, your Twitter, your Twitch, your YouTube comment section that is ready to clip that and put it on Reddit. And within an evening, I was the top thread on Reddit and was getting a few conversations in the morning about how we don't leak things and how we also don't leak wrong things. It was really funny too, because the whole community had it data mined. Like, everybody knew who was coming out, and it was just a matter of, okay, waiting till Wednesday of that week to see it in the patch notes. But Hunter was all that everybody said, and then I come out and say it's an assassin, and I'm wrong, but I work for the company, and then everyone's like, yo, high-res employee, high-res Raynday confirms that IZANAMI is an assassin. What? Mind blown. Oh god, I thought it was a hunter. No, we don't need another assassin. And then it was just this old, it was hilarious. I'm glad it's behind me, let's put it that way. But the past is the past, the future is nigh, and that means that IZANAMI is on my hit list for one of the gods that I'd like to master. She's just fun, she's different. Not a lot of hunters have stealth mechanics, and of course you only have a few hunters that are very ability powered when you want to look towards them that way. IZANAMI has a mix of that ability power with huge scaling on her 2 and her ultimate, but also some incredibly good attack speed steroid potential with her number 1, and with the ability for her to build attack speed and crit. So she has 2 different routes you can go. She kind of does the best of both worlds in many ways, and with her early game clear having to be nerfed a little bit in this last patch because it's so strong, and of course her late game potential still being very viable as a result of the item changes and how she fits in Season 4, she's a great god, a great hunter to pick up, to learn, and to get better with at this very moment. Alright guys, now it's time to move on to number 4. Now number 4 is weird and lame, and everyone's gonna make fun of me for it, and I know it, but listen, it's something that I kind of personally have an itch about. I don't know why. I've wanted to master this goddess for a long time, and she's always been fun. She's always kind of been good against me, and I've never really cared to be involved with her very much. I did the guide every now and then, and I wasn't too excited for it, right? It just seemed like her kit was pretty straightforward, at least, you know, after she was changed earlier on in her career in Smite. But right now, I realized that I'm a mage guy. It's my #1 most played class in Smite, followed I think by hunters and then assassins, but mages, like, by and large are the most played gods in Smite that I've taken a liking to. And this mage has been one of those that in that entire time of loving mages and playing so much Kronos and Anubis and Freya and Isis and Nox that I just never touched, really. And it's Nuwa. Now, Nuwa is like kind of old, right? She's basic. A lot of people who look at this from the veteran community will say, Nuwa, brother, what the hell, man? It's like trying to say, you know what language I want to learn? Sanskrit. You know, I'm trying to learn Sanskrit now because that's going to make me relevant. Like, Nuwa is like one of the oldest gods in Smite. You know, learn something that makes sense, that's relevant. You know what I mean? Stop living in the past. But let me track you to why I like this pick for #4 and why I actually find it interesting, and why I wanted to include it is because it is weird, it is unusual. I think that's what this list is supposed to inspire, just an interesting look into why I feel certain ways, and maybe, you know, looking at why you feel certain ways about the gods that you like as well. For me, Nuwa was a god I never touched. It means it's a god that's untapped for me. Despite playing so many mages, I really didn't explore her because I did think she was relatively basic. I wasn't really excited about, you know, an AoE ult that could just kill anybody. It wasn't really skill based, so I didn't put a lot of energy into it. But there are hidden mechanics in Nuwa, and I guess one of the cool things about not being invested into a god and kind of skipping over them is you always have the opportunity to come back. It's an untouched treasure trove. The best example I can give is if somebody didn't read the Harry Potter books, like just had no idea what Harry Potter was, or this is like what my girlfriend does. She's never seen Star Wars. She's never seen Lord of the Rings. She's never seen any of these amazing movies and movie series that are like golden. You know what I mean? It's like, I wish I could watch Lord of the Rings again for the first time. I wish I could read Harry Potter for the first time and not know already what's happening. And because I passed over her, now I have that opportunity to go back and be intrigued as if I'm just somebody new to this god. Now, I know the basic mechanics of Nuwa, but I'm not very good at executing them, especially in higher level games with players who know how to counter Nuwa and know how to deal with her. The other aspect about Nuwa that I find even difficult to this day, despite knowing what to do, is lining up my shining metal with my clay minions, my clay soldiers, and creating that huge burst. Nuwa is actually one of the biggest bursting gods in Smite if done correctly. If you build full damage and you hit clay soldier stun into a shining metal, that could burst for like 80% health. It's absolutely nuts how much damage that does, but you gotta hit everything, and that's why great Nuwa players who can consistently hit everything are kind of, I don't know, lights in the dark, and something that I think I would like to be one day and find intriguing and kind of cool to be at that level. And right now I realize I am a wimp. I am a dark trying to find some light. I get that, you know, brother's black as well, but in this metaphor, I am also just not seeing and not executing this to the best of my abilities, as you've probably seen in some gameplay here. But it's something that I can look forward to. It's a god that I, again, haven't tapped yet. It's an older god, but a lot of sweetness, a lot of juice still to suck. Right from the, I'm gonna stop going in that direction right there. Yeah, but sometimes the old can be new, especially if you haven't experienced the old before, and it could be like a hidden little gem. So that's Nuwa for me. She comes in at #4, and I am excited to get some Nuwa games in the future. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. #5. Not in any particular order, but this is the last god in this video I'll be covering that I want to master and I think is interesting to master right now. And that is a god kind of at the center of a ton of controversy in Smite, a ton of anger, and yet to me still with a ton of potential and a ton of excitement around it, as I haven't quite yet delved deep into trying to understand this god and dissect how to best use him. And that is THOTH, or Thoth, as a lot of people would say. Now, Dash Nabadoot Raynday, why the hell you gonna learn a broken ass god like Thoth? Freaking stunning me? He shouldn't have. It doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve to stun. You know, and this has been admittedly a bad time to probably break this out. I know a lot of people are having nightmares of Thoth and trying to just escape from what became just this unstoppable force, just this used to be very weak and meager, like, let me get to my late game please god, who became like, I'm dashing into the whole team, I'm getting a 5-man stun and like ulting off of that. I don't need any setup, I got my own. You know, Thoth just became crazy, and I think people have a little bit of a sour taste about him in their mouth right now. But besides that, if we just push that to the side real quick, I actually think Thoth is a very interesting god, and now that his stun is now limited to 1 god, it stops at the first god hit. I think he's going to be a lot of fun and still a lot of a really good challenge to master. If mastery is just, hey, right click, left click, blada blada, and I've already played the god, I already know how to do that, then it's not that exciting. But if there's this kind of inherent danger to playing a god like this, and Thoth being one of the not safer gods always has this inherent danger to him. I think that's why when people play Anubis, there's this kind of high risk, high reward factor. You know you could get caught out. You know somebody can just be the bane of your existence, but you know you could equally be that bane of somebody else's existence if you get going, if you get that level lead, if you get the items going on, and you just start wrecking, you could just be unstoppable. And I think that's where Thoth can be for me too. And as a player in Smite, I think sometimes what we live for is that do well kind of experience, right? We know we might do poorly, but we're playing for that chance that we might just have the best game of our lives. And Thoth, when you do have a great game on Thoth, it is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, let's not even talk about the stuns. Let's just talk about the damage, like the bully potential in lane that you have, the ability to just help your teammates set up and use his 3 really well to just kind of push objectives or zone out fights. And the ult, my god, when you hit that ult, I mean, that's one of the sweetest feelings when you hit that long range downtown Thoth ult. I find it to be so rewarding to play this god at a high level, and for me, that's why he comes in at the 5th and last god in this list that I'd like to master. My friends and family here at Raynstorm, thank you guys so much for being a part of everything here, whether it's 31 and 31 and watching every video, or whether it's hanging out in my live streams, which I like to do here with the new super chat feature we just added, which is really cool. Make sure you join some of those on YouTube, or whether it's just checking in every now and then, leaving a like, leaving a comment, even if it's leaving a dislike. Just engaging in this community is so valuable to everyone, whether it's the feedback we receive, and that's me and my viewers, or whether it's just the experience of connecting with other people who are like-minded and going for the same goals as yourself. I recently had my 100,000 subscriber plaque arrive from YouTube yesterday. It was the silver play button, and it was a great reminder of the fact that every view, every like, every comment is not only just a big number. They're not hundreds, they're not thousands, they're not hundreds of thousands, they're ones. They're individuals, they're people behind the screen that have been inspired, that have been entertained, that have been challenged. And to me, that was the most moving experience of receiving the button, knowing not only that these numbers were astronomically bigger than I could have expected, but knowing that the impact in individuals' lives was astronomically bigger than I could have dreamed at the time that I started this. But as we continue to grow and move through our successes and our failures, I hope and encourage all of you to let your dreams become bigger as well. If you don't believe in your dreams, how can you expect anyone else to? And if you don't go for them, who else will? You have to take life by the reins sometimes, and not the Raynday or the Raynstorm, the R-E-I-N-S, and drive it and gear it and shift it towards where you want to go. And in many ways, that's like the process of mastery. It never starts out easy, it never starts out simple, it never even starts out possible for someone at a beginner level to do the things that a master can. The only possibilities, the only realities of that mastery are in that person's vision, in that person's mind, and in that person's heart. Will you continue to drive forward despite what's in front of you not being your end result, knowing that at the end of the day, at the end of the road, it will be waiting there for you? That is how you get better at video games. That is how you enjoy your games more and gain value from every single thing that happens to you. And ultimately, I think, and for me it's been true thus far, that's how you make the most out of life. And that's how I find that I continue to have a great reason to wake up and a smile on my face when I go to bed. So cheers to your dreams, cheers to your masteries, and cheers to your next steps. May they be fruitful and guide you in the continuous elevation up towards your goals. As always, my friends, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and I'll see you all next time.